Hi friends, welcome back to part 3 of Class 10 Science, Chapter 14, Sources of Energy. In the previous video, we have already discussed the conventional sources of energy. And in this video, we shall discuss the non-conventional or alternative sources of energy, which are solar energy, energy from the sea, geothermal energy, and nuclear energy. So let's begin. First, solar energy. So solar energy is the energy obtained from the sun. The sun radiates huge amount of energy and only a small part of it reaches the outer layer of the Earth's atmosphere. 50% of this energy is absorbed by the Earth's atmosphere and the rest 50% reaches the Earth's surface. And it is used by us in various ways. Now let us study the uses of solar energy. First, photosynthesis. So plants can produce food only in the presence of sunlight. Sunlight is a very important component of photosynthesis. Second, solar cookers and solar water heaters. These devices use heat of the sun for their working. Solar cookers achieve a higher temperature by using mirrors to focus the rays of the sun. They are covered with a glass plate to trap sunlight. Third, to produce electricity. So solar cells convert solar energy into electricity. Solar cells are made up of silicon. A solar cell produces voltage of 0.5 volt to 1 volt and power of 0.7 watts when exposed to sun. As this is very less, a large number of solar cells are combined in an arrangement known as solar cell panel to produce electricity on a commercial scale. So now let us study the uses of solar panels. So solar panels are the main source of energy for artificial satellites and space probes such as the Mars orbiter. Second, radio and wireless transmission systems also use solar panels. Solar panels are also used in TV relay stations in remote locations, in traffic signals, in calculators and many toys. Now, let us study the advantages and disadvantages of solar panels. So, the advantages of solar panels are that they have no moving parts and they require very little maintenance. Second, they work quite satisfactorily without the use of any focusing device. Third, they can easily be set up in remote or sparsely inhabited areas where laying power lines may not be possible. Fourth, they cause no pollution and solar energy is a renewable source. Now let us see the disadvantages of solar panels. First, the entire process of manufacturing the solar panel is quite expensive. And silver, which is used for interconnection of the cells in the panel, adds up to the cost. Second, solar panels have very low efficiency. Thus, they have very limited use in current time. The second non-conventional source of energy is energy from the sea. Now, it is of three types: tidal energy, wave energy, and ocean thermal energy. Let's understand each one of them in detail. First, tidal energy. So, tidal energy, the definition of tidal energy is that due to gravitational pull of moon on the spinning earth, the level of water in the sea rises and falls. This phenomenon is known as high and low tides. The difference in sea level gives us tidal energy. Now let us see how tidal energy is harnessed. So a dam is constructed across a narrow opening on the sea. A turbine fixed at the opening of the dam converts the tidal energy into electricity. But tidal energy also has many limitations, such as locations where such dams can be built are very limited, and tidal energy can't produce electricity on a commercial scale. Second, wave energy. So waves are generated by strong winds blowing from the sea. The kinetic energy possessed by huge waves near the seashore is trapped to generate electricity. Now let us see how wave energy is harnessed. So a variety of devices have been developed to trap wave energy for rotation of turbine and production of electricity. But again, it has many limitations, such as strong waves are needed for the generation of wave energy, and thus it is a non-commercially viable source of energy, and it cannot be used on the commercial scale to produce electricity. Third, ocean thermal energy. So water at the surface of the sea or ocean is heated by the sun, but water in the deeper sections of the ocean is relatively cold. So water at the surface is hot, and at the deeper section it is very cold. Thus, this difference in temperature is exploited to obtain energy in ocean thermal energy conversion plants. So there are some special conversion plants of this ocean thermal energy, which use this difference in the water to generate electricity. Now let us see how these ocean thermal energy conversion plants work. So the warm surface water is used to boil a volatile liquid like ammonia. The vapors of this ammonia are then used to turn the turbine of the generator. The cold water from the depth of the ocean is pumped up and used to condense the vapors of ammonia back into liquid. Now this ocean thermal energy has many limitations, such as these plants can only operate if the temperature difference between the water at the surface and the water at the depth is 20 Celsius or more. Third, geothermal energy. So it is the energy obtained from the heat of the earth. Now let us see how electricity is produced from geothermal energy. So now we know that the deeper regions of the earth's crust are very hot. At some places, the molten rocks formed in the deeper hot regions of the earth are pushed upwards and trapped in certain regions called hotspots. Now when the underground water comes in contact with these molten rocks, it gets converted into steam. Now this steam can be extracted from a pipe and used to turn the turbine. And in this way, electricity is produced from geothermal energy. Now let us see the advantages and disadvantages of geothermal energy. So the advantage of geothermal energy is that its cost of production is very less. But on the other hand, very few sites are available for producing geothermal energy commercially. The major locations of power plants based on geothermal energy are New Zealand and the United States of America. The fourth non-conventional source of energy is nuclear energy. It is the energy harnessed from the nucleus of an atom. It can be harnessed by two ways. The first is by nuclear fission and the second is by nuclear fusion. Let's study each one of them in detail. First, nuclear fission. So in this process, when the nucleus of a heavy atom like uranium, plutonium and thorium is bombarded with low energy neutrons, it splits apart into lighter nuclei. So in this process, a heavy nucleus splits into lighter nuclei. When this is done, a tremendous amount of energy is released. This energy production is uncontrolled. Now let us see the uses of nuclear fission. First is electricity generation. So in a nuclear reactor, nuclear fission is used for releasing energy at a controlled rate. So originally, nuclear fission is an uncontrolled process, but a nuclear reactor is a place where this can be used for generating generating energy at a controlled rate. This released energy is used to produce steam, and this steam rotates the turbine to further produce electricity. And second use of nuclear fission is for making destructive weapons such as the nuclear weapons. And the second process of harnessing nuclear energy is nuclear fusion. Let's see how. So fusion means joining lighter nuclei to make a heavy nucleus. So this is the opposite of nuclear fission. And for example, hydrogen or hydrogen isotopes are joined to create helium. Now let us see the uses of nuclear fusion. So nuclear fusion reactions are the source of energy in sun and stars. Nuclear fusion is a safer way to generate nuclear energy than nuclear fission. Hydrogen bomb is based on the thermonuclear fusion reaction. So now let us see the major locations of nuclear reactors in India. The first is Tarapur in Maharashtra. Second is Rana Pratap Sagar in Rajasthan. Third is Kalpakkam in Tamil Nadu. Fourth, Narora in Uttar Pradesh. Fifth, Khakrapur in Gujarat. And sixth, Kega in Karnataka. Nuclear reactors contribute to 3% of the total energy generation in India. Now, let us see the advantages and disadvantages of nuclear energy. So, the advantages of nuclear energy are that it produces a lot of energy. For example, the fission of an atom of uranium produces 10 million times the energy produced by combustion of an atom of carbon. Second, nuclear fuels continue to release energy for a long period of time. Now let us see the disadvantages of nuclear energy. So it is a major hazard of nuclear power generation is the storage and disposal of spent or used fuels. Improper nuclear waste storage and disposal could result in environmental contamination. Also, there is a big risk of accidental leakage of nuclear radiation. And if this happens, it would lead to a lot of loss of human lives. Fourth, the high cost of installation of nuclear power plants is also a major disadvantage. And fifth, uranium is available in limited quantity. Thus, large-scale use of nuclear energy is prohibitive. Now, let us see the environmental consequences of using these energy sources. So, exploiting any source of energy disturbs the environment in some way or the other. For example, fossil fuels directly cause air pollution on burning, and some sources such as solar energy, they do not cause pollution directly. But the solar cells, the making of the solar cells result in environmental damage. So the process and the factories in which these solar cells are made, they obviously cause some pollution. So in this way, we cannot say that any fuel is completely clean fuel. So a major question which arises in our mind is that how long will an energy source last? Some sources can't be replenished or renewed. Such sources are known as exhaustible or non-renewable sources of energy. For example, fossil fuels. On the other hand, some resources can be replenished even if they get finished. These are known as non-exhaustible or renewable sources of energy. For example, solar, wind, water energy. So based on what all we have learned till now, which factors would we consider while choosing an energy source? So the first would be ease and cost of extracting energy from that source. Second would be the efficiency of the technology available. And third would be the environmental damage that will be caused by using that resource. So with this, we come to the end of this chapter. If you like the videos, do subscribe. And if you have any doubt in the video, you can ask in the comment box. Thank you.